Hey, Carlos, are you there? I have something I'd like to talk to you about really quick.
Oh, wow. Frida? It's been a while since I've gotten a message from my own little sister. What's up?
Well, the thing is that I'm kind of really worried about Mom.
You're worried about Mom? I don't get it. Is she in trouble or something like that? Why would you be worried about her?
Her and I were actually talking on the phone yesterday, you see. And she just didn't sound like herself at all. I don't know, it was like all the energy had been sucked out of her or something like that.
And you think that's weird? That just kind of sounds like Mom, if you ask me.
You really think that's normal? You mean that she's not stuck and hasn't been feeling bad or anything like that?
No, she hasn't been sick or anything as far as I know. And did Mom even say that she was feeling bad to you or something? I imagine she probably told you she was feeling normal.
Well, yes. She did say that she was feeling okay. But something was off. I could hear it in her voice.
I don't know. Maybe it's just an age thing? You know how people slow down and lose their energy quicker when they're older. You're always talking about how your mother-in-law just sleeps in all day, right?
Well, yeah. But that's because my mother-in-law is much older than our mom. I'm not sure you can compare the two.
You know, I really hate to be the one to break this to you, sis, but our mom is no spring chicken anymore. You know that, right? She's getting older, and that's something that's only going to continue. But you must be having a pretty hard time having to take care of your mother-in-law like that, right?
It is really hard most times, yes. But Lisa, my mother-in-law, is really a sweet woman and does her best to make it easier on me.
I see. But still, don't you think it would just be better to throw her in a home and just be done with it?
No, I don't think the situation is quite that dire yet. I don't have any problem looking after her for now. Besides, it is nice that we all live together, so Juan can help out from time to time too.
Man, what a weird guy. I mean, the moment Mom needs help taking care of herself, I'm throwing her straight into a retirement home. But, you know, she's always saying how she thinks she'd prefer that to me helping her as well. She knows that I have my handful with the kids here and don't have time for her.
Well, if that's really what Mom says she wants to do in the future, then I guess I won't say anything. But I personally think it'd be best to keep her at home for as long as possible before finding a retirement home.
I thought you just said that you weren't going to say anything. You sure broke that promise fast.
Look, Carlos, I know that taking care of an aging parent can seem daunting at first. But isn't that part of why we live in these multi-generational homes anyways? I think we should be grateful for the chance to be so close to our parents. Oh, of course, I kind of already figured that you were pretty against looking after Mom in any way.
Well, the biggest difference is that when Mom does need that help, I'll be able to actually give it to her by putting her in a home. Because unlike your poor husband, I work for a top-level company and make a ton of money.
Carlos, come on. Please don't talk about Juan that way. Why can't you just keep those kinds of thoughts to yourself?
Because it's my life. And if I want to talk about it, I will. If you don't like it, then you should have chosen a better husband.
Ugh, seriously, why are you always like this? Don't you realize that nobody finds this charming or endearing? I think it's great that you work for such a big company, but why does that make you want to put everyone else down? You know that one day something unfortunate is going to happen to you, and you'll have driven everyone who would have helped you away.
You're just jealous. And besides, I'm only telling the truth, and maybe when the truth changes, then I'll change my tune.
Okay, well, I want you to know that I think the world of my husband, and think that he's an amazing man.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm sure he's just a great guy. But you try telling him that at least I can afford to put my mother into a home when she needs it. Anyways, I've got some things I need to attend to, so I'm going to go.
Right, well, I am sorry for bugging you while you're at work. Please tell Mom I said hi. Hey, Carlos. I was just curious. Is Mom asleep right now or something? I'm trying to call her, but she isn't picking up or answering my text.
You're asking me about what Mom is doing? I really don't know. Why do you think I'd have any clue about that anyways?
Is Mom not in the house right now? I'm confused. How could you not know what she's up to?
Oh, right. She had a little dinner party with her friends. That's where she is right now.
Oh, I see. Well, I just wanted to call Mom because my mother-in-law passed away.
Really? Wow, that's awesome. You're finally free. You don't have to worry about taking care of that brat ever again.
Carlos, what is the matter with you? I just told you that someone has died.
Well, I'm just being honest with you. I mean, you are free now, right? You don't even have any parents-in-law to worry about now.
Carlos, please. I'm just crushed about this. I really am sad about Lisa's passing.
Yeah, but you should have known that she wasn't really long for this world at all, right? But anyways, why did you want to tell Mom about all this?
Well, because I was talking to Mom about how Lisa wasn't doing well. And Mom mentioned wanting to go to her funeral when it happened.
I see. Well, I hope you don't think that I was going to go to some funeral for an old lady I barely even knew.
No, I didn't really expect that you would go, to be honest. But don't worry. I really don't expect much out of you at all.
I'll just buy a card or something and give it to Mom so that she can give it to your husband. It really is the least I can afford. Literally. Maybe I'll even throw in some flowers if I'm feeling generous.
Great. I'm sure those gestures will be greatly appreciated.
Anyways, even if this old woman is dead, you probably even weren't in her will, right? Don't you think that's messed up? You took care of her for 3 years, and she doesn't even leave you anything?
I really wasn't taking care of Lisa with the expectation that I'd be making any money from it.
Yeah. You're such a saint, aren't you? But just know that I can't let Mom be over there for too long. She's got to be back at the house soon.
But Carlos, I was hoping that Mom could stay over here with us for at least a week or something.
I'm sorry, but that just isn't going to work with my wife at all. You're going to cause some serious trouble for us.
Well, what's going on with Lucia? Why would it cause trouble for you?
Because if Mom isn't at home, then that means that she'll have to take over doing the work that Mom does. You know that we have kids to deal with her, right? That's why we need Mom here to keep the house clean and do all the cooking for us.
Carlos, please. I'm asking for a week with Mom. Are you really going to deny me that? I can't even remember the last time that I got to see Mom at this point.
Well, that's because you made the choice to become a live-in nurse for your mother-in-law. Don't go blaming other people for your choices.
I know that I was taking care of Lisa for a long time, but still.
I'm sorry, but here at my house, we have rules. And the most important rule is no free rides. We're not just going to hold on to Mom's stuff so she can go on some vacation.
Carlos, please. You know that this isn't going to be a vacation. She's going to be here helping with the funeral and spending time with Juan and I. Besides, it already sounds like you're making her do an awful lot of work, don't you think?
And just what is wrong with that? She's the one who moved into our place, not the other way around. If she wants to stay here, then she has to earn her keep. Besides, she agreed that we'd split up the work around the house when she first came to live with us here.
I know that, and I understand the situation. But I'm just saying that we should let Mom have a little rest too, don't you think? Is one measly week really going to bring your whole house to a grinding halt?
I am telling you that 1 week is going to be too much, and that should be enough for you. If she goes for a week, I'll consider her moved out of the house.
If you really need her help that much, then why don't you just hire a cleaning service for the week that she's gone? You're always going on about how much money you have and how good your salary is.
And I have so much money because I don't waste it on frivolous things like cleaning services when I have a perfectly good mother who can clean up after me instead?
I really just don't even know what to say to that. You're just impossible to talk to sometimes, do you know that?
Well, good. Then don't talk to me. But just know that Mom is living in my house. So you can't just take her out whenever you want without asking me first. I'm already being kind enough to let her go to the funeral. But once it's over, she needs to come straight back home. And I don't want to hear another word about it from you.
Carlos, what is the matter with you? I seriously don't even know what to say. Just what kind of hell have you been putting our poor mom through?
What in the world are you talking about right now?
Well, after the funeral, we all went out for dinner and then all of a sudden Mom just burst out into tears. She said it was the first time in a long time that she had gotten to eat a warm dinner. What have you been feeding Mom to make her say that? Because she told me that you only ever let her eat scraps and leftovers.
Oh, is that what she was talking about? What about it?
What about it? Well, that's just what I want to know. What is that? What are you doing to our mom? Why can't she just eat normally?
Well, a while back, Mom wouldn't get off our backs about not wasting food and even had the nerve to say something to my wife about it. So, ever since then, we've only been feeding her the leftovers to teach her a lesson about showing gratitude to us.
Are you kidding me? Please tell me that's a joke or something. Carlos, how could you do that?
I really don't know what you're even talking to me about this when it's Mom's fault for being so annoying about it.
But I mean, I just really can't see our mom snapping at someone over something like that. Are you sure that she wasn't just trying to gently ask you both not to waste so much food?
Doesn't really matter what tone of voice she took. The fact of the matter is that she was disrespectful, and that's why my problem with her was.
But you were the one saying that you'd be able to provide for our mom because of all the money you had. But you're not actually doing anything like that at all, are you?
Hello? Are you forgetting the part where I'm letting our mom live with us? I think giving someone a roof over their head is reason enough to be grateful. Don't you? Besides, everyone who knows that I'm letting our mom live with me says that I'm doing a really nice thing. So what do you think about that?
Are you really going to try and pretend like that's not just because you're letting them see what you want them to see? Besides, you were telling me that you all split the work around the house. But Mom tells me that she's been taking care of the kids, cleaning the house, and doing all of the cooking.
You have no idea what you're talking about at all. My wife and I do plenty around the house, and that old bat has some serious nerve talking behind our back. And you're just as bad for believing her without any proof of anything that she's saying at all.
I just don't get it. You know, I was suspicious when you first let Mom start to live with you. It just seems so unlike you.
Well, if you have a problem with the way that I'm taking care of Mom, then you can have her. After all, your mother-in-law just died, right? So how about I give you something new to take care of?
Okay, fine then. We'll do just that. I've already asked my husband, and he said he had no problem with it.
You mean that you're really gonna take Mom off our hands? You're just gonna drop from taking care of one old lady to the next? You really are an idiot. But far be it from us to stop you from doing this. You're only doing us a favor.
You really have no idea what you're talking about at all, do you? But I guess you'll realize the mistake you've made soon enough.
Oh, please. We had one rule, and that was that you had to earn your keep. And honestly, Mom barely kept up her end of the deal. I already know that my wife is going to be so pleased to know that she won't have to deal with my mother anymore.
I'm just telling you now that you are going to regret this. I'll make sure of that.
Oh yeah? I'm so scared. You're really gonna make me regret not having to deal with our old decrepit mom anymore.
Well, you do realize that the new house that you built is on the land that Mom and Dad own, right? I mean, I already know that Mom gave you the down payment to start construction on the new place. You go on and on about how much money you make and what a success you are. But I really don't think you're nearly as rich as you let on. But you should know that I'm never handing Mom back over to you.
What are you even talking about? I wouldn't even want Mom back if you begged me to take her off your hands. Hey, Frida! Did you change Mom's phone number?
I did, actually. Why do you want to know? Were you trying to get in contact with her?
Look, I just need you to talk to Mom and ask her to come back and live with us again. Please, I'm serious about this.
Wait, what? What is this all of a sudden? Don't you know Mom is going to be living with me from now on? I already told you that I was never going to let her go back and live with you or your family.
Please, you don't understand. Things are really falling apart here. The house hasn't been cleaned only since Mom left. And the kids are running around and just making things worse, and my wife. She walked out of the house and hasn't come back in a few days now.
And just what does any of that have to do with our mom living with you?
Please, when Mom was here to do all the housework, it was so much better. I thought we might be fine without her, but I was dead wrong, and I need her back.
Well, have you even tried cleaning up around the house on your own?
Are you out of your mind? I have a job. I can't just come home and be expected to clean up and cook as well.
Well, it sounds to me now that your wife has left. You're the only one who can do that kind of work.
Please, just send Mom back here just a little while. Just until the house is clean, and then you can have her back. I swear.
So you want me to send our mom to your house so that she can clean up your house like some sort of maid? You really need to wake up and face the facts, Carlos. Your whole family life revolved around exploiting our elderly mother. She's already told me about how neither of you nor your wife ever did any work around the house and left it all for her.
Well, I remember that Lucila came to me once telling me that Mom was bullying her about not doing anything around the house. But Mom said she wasn't doing anything like that at all.
And let me guess, you took your wife's side over our mom's. You really are a moron, do you know that? Why don't you just open your eyes and see who is actually doing the work around the house? I'm sure if you even cared to pay attention, you'd see that it was Mom doing all of the work all of the time. But you couldn't even offer to help her out even once? You couldn't even let her rest or have a single day off?
What part of me having a job and having to go to work every day to earn money don't you get?
You know, my husband has a job too. And he still comes home and will help clean and even cook when I ask him to. We don't use our jobs or other things as excuses to get out of what we need to do.
Don't you pretend like your loser husband and I are even close to being in the same tier. I'm leagues above him.
Oh, that's right. You're so rich and you work at such a fancy place, don't you? So I guess that should mean that you have enough money to figure this out all on your own, don't you? Well, good luck with it.
Wait, no. Hold on. Don't go. Please. Lucila left the house. She said she didn't want to take care of our kids.
Well, you're their father too, aren't you? Maybe you should step up and try acting like one for once.
But I have to go to work. How am I supposed to watch over the kids if I have to be in the office 8 hours of the day?
I don't know, Carlos. But you were the one who put Mom through all of this and treated her like a servant. So you've really got some nerve coming back to us and trying to ask for help. If you really want help, maybe you should try going to ask your in-laws and leave us alone.
Please. You don't understand. Lucila told me that if I don't get Mom back to do all the chores around here, that she would divorce me.
Wow. Sounds to me like you really know how to pick them then, don't you, Carlos? But you know what? Your marriage is none of my business. And it isn't Mom's job to hold it together through her own sweat and tears. You got yourself into this mess, and it's not our job to help you out of it. So why don't you act like an actual adult and take responsibility for your actions? After that, Carlos realized that no help was coming from us. He tried calling everyone he could to try and watch his children, but finally, he had no choice but to ask his in-laws. He thought that Lucia might have gone back to stay with them for the time being, but they had no idea where she had gone. After some investigating, Carlos managed to track her down to another man's house. Even in spite of her affair, after losing his family, Carlos didn't want a divorce. Lucia, on the other hand, only wanted a divorce and hired a lawyer to force Carlos to accept. After the divorce, Carlos began bugging Mom and I and begging for us to take him back, but we weren't having it. Realizing that we weren't going to budge on the matter, Carlos's calls became fewer and fewer until we stopped hearing from him at all. It was only months later that Mom finally said she wanted to talk to Carlos again. Or rather, she didn't want to lose her grandchildren because of what her son did. So now we're cautiously restarting a relationship with him, but it's going to be a long time before things are back to normal.